What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of IDK Sports Podcast, your premier podcast to talk sports with the average guys.
Yeah.
My name is Anthony. This is my main man, Kenny.
What's happening?
And this is the spot to talk sports with the average guys every Monday, 5 p.m. right here on YouTube and all podcast platforms. Oh, man. Another episode, man. We about to get into some
shit.
Get some real beef, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like some sports world beef, which is been crazy, man. So
can't we all just get along?
That's what we should be saying, but I guess it's Stephen A. heard LeBron. LeBron heard them too. They just said, "Oh no, hell no, man! Y'all been up and done it. Hell no, Deion Sanders, Asante Samuels. Hell no, man!
Y'all done up and done it.
Y'all come up and done it. My first song was like 48 bars with no hook. You hear me flipping to my.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, man, that's
boy, right
a real boy. Talk about it. Them jokers is, you know what I'm saying? Like,
getting real catty.
I feel like all you needed behind your boy is your boy LeBron was on Pat McAfee was just
Fuck JC.
What's up, nigga?
Yeah, this nigga posted up with Pat McAfee was like that.
the hat down low,
All black.
mic right there.
All black.
So
What's happening?
teach you the king, you
No,
know.
no hand, no dap today.
Nah,
No dap today.
What up there? Straight up there.
Yeah.
Right back on first strike.
Yeah, this my seat. Nah, I know it's my seat. Let's get to it.
Who's the best? Pop, not the big. Ain't
What's
no
up?
bet.
What's up, niggas? I'm here for smoke today.
Oh man, it was crazy, man. So you
Nah,
know,
I don't hear nothing about the LeBron James. I don't hear no jokes today.
nah, man. It was he came up there just straight
I'm ready to get to it.
straight giving smoke, bro. And then we really want to talk about how you
Oh
feel.
yeah, sports beef.
If we really want to talk about how your boy felt,
Fuck them niggas.
Hey, you know what? It's so every time that damn song is so applicable so many times in real life. Bro, you know, I swear that had to be like the shortest like record session in the world, bro. Because I know he just recorded that shit. You know what? Fuck them niggas.
and the way the beat come through. So man, real sports beef been going on, man. Usually don't get no messy topics like this, but we had to talk about it.
Got to.
It's been happening. So if you haven't been under a rock or whatever, we ain't gonna rehash the whole thing. But LeBron and Stephen A, man, by the time they might still be going at it.
I'm saying.
But they was really going at it, man. And then it's really caused a debate on whose side people are on about this, right?
Sure.
I'm torn. I'm on the fence.
Uh-oh. There we go. First topic. We already got.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about who, like, first of all, right?
Uh-oh.
I heard the episode where Stephen A basically questioned his parenting. Question him as a father, saying, like, as a father, why would you put your son in this predicament, blah, blah, blah. That's checkable. I do think you can check him for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, as a father myself,
Same.
like, yo, who the fuck you talking to, yo?
and that's exactly where the buck stops.
Like,
That's exactly where the buck stops.
but at the same time, LeBron cannot take any culpability because he hyped his son up. He said his son is better than some players in the league right now. Everybody knew you wanted to play with your son. So he didn't work out for certain teams. It's different. You trying to coddle your son like you trying to take care of your son and make sure he's in the best possible space any father would. But at the same time, he did have the heart attack. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad he got over that, right? He did only average 5 points in college. Got drafted by your team. He's not in the G League, even though he's eating down there. He's coming back and forth. the scrutiny is coming from what you said prior to, though, before your son even got here. You know what I'm saying? When he was at Sierra Canyon, and when you said he was better than some jokers in the league right now. You did hype your son up. So your son is not, the thing that I don't like is LeBron cannot act like people can't say harsh things about his son or criticize his son. Because you put your son is in this light now. Because he's a professional athlete. Not saying like not questioning your parent or how you did it, but he's a professional athlete. He can be critiqued. But that part of Stephen A. doing, I don't care about. Like, that's his job. But when you question somebody parenting, and then everybody saying, well, he did it in public, he checked them in public. But like LeBron always has cameras on him. So I'm gonna check you, like it's gonna be somebody that catches
somebody.
And Stephen A. Carey talking about he didn't want to talk about it. And Stephen A. Carey, like if he had put his hands on him, he would have swung on him.
Knock it off.
See, that's the part where I don't get Stephen A. Because now it's like
you invite
like,
the street shit.
Now it's like, oh, I would have put my hands on you. It's like, oh, he knew it. Like now you basically saying like, oh, you knew what it was.
Exactly.
It was up. Like you knew what it was.
Right.
But it was never like that.
Right.
I was just letting keep my son name. I mean, keep like don't talk about, what I'm saying, my son that way. You know what I'm saying? Or talk about my parents and whatever you were saying, whatever was said. We don't know. Only him, Stephen A., LeBron, the Lord knows what was said. But don't be like, oh, he put his hands on me, I would have swung on him. Like, bro, come on, bro. Like, y'all too old for that shit. Like, that's where, and again, now that's a checkable offense in my eyes too. Like, I'm here now. What's up? How you feel about it?
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm done. What's up?
Okay. I said off the top when you was going like, hey, that's where the buck stops when it comes to parenting. When it comes to parenting, bro, that's almost a line. As much as we like to speak about bro code in the culture, it's man code. There's a certain line we don't cross when it comes like, you gonna check me about my parenting, about the position I put my children in to try to set them up for success. We may all go about that in a different way or form, however that may be. Like if Stephen A. Smith Jr., third, whatever, if there was that, young man out there, I'm sure you would do your best for your child to set them up to be successful. We talked about D Wade and how he did for his son in his basketball career, how we set him up to be successful. Or plenty of lines or plenty other examples of how men in positions of success or positions of power try to do for their children. That's the name of the game. We throw labels like nepotism on top of it to kind of make, because it's been what's what I'm looking for? It's been divisive amongst certain people. Against people of color. It's been something that hasn't been as granted to us as well as others to be, you know what I'm saying? So, but when it's on our side of the fence, we want to be able to critique and ridicule and like, bruh, knock it the hell off. But especially when it comes to the kids, I don't give a damn. I got a 5-year-old right now. There ain't no age that my baby can grow to where it's gonna be acceptable to speak on how I rear my child at any time. Now, if it was about their accolades in their professional field, how they perform, how to do some things, I understand as a journalist, as a TV analyst, whatever you want to call yourself, that is in the job description. That's the only amount of clemency I can give Stephen A. is that, hey, it's in your job description. Nobody's above ridicule.
So do you like how LeBron's handling it? I don't have a problem with checking them. I do have a kind of problem with going to Pat McAfee.
That was my only issue.
That was kind of.
That's my
Before
only
I do that though, so we're gonna find out who's guilty in this. So I told y'all we'll start this segment.
Reporting live down in the Maysville News Center.
We gotta figure out. We gotta
known as Mr. Big.
Gotta put this in man trial,
today,
bro trial.
Y'all
taking Mr. Big.
I had a chance to speak with him today, and I asked him, why did you do the things?
Who's being assassinated?
He got them chickens. That nigga bought a house for a small body lady.
Who's being assassinated right now? I played doing the sass off board, and I was with LeBron checking him. I was with Stephen A. responding to the check. I think LeBron, this is why I'm kind of iffy on it, because LeBron didn't do himself any favors in this whole grand scheme of things. Going on Pat McAfee was crazy.
Unnecessary.
You don't do no other.
Because it could have just been, I said what I said what I said, and I said what I had to say to you.
Yeah, you don't sit down and do any other interviews.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to repeat yourself. If you drew a hard line when you saw that man face to face, at the end of the day, that could have just been done, checkmate. Because we know what Stephen A. gonna do. He gonna go back and set up his camera equipment and set up his studio equipment. We know what he gonna do because he's been doing it. I mean, mind you, I don't recall Stephen A. Smith being like the biggest LeBron fan. Have you?
No.
Okay, so up until this point, there's been ridicule that came from Stephen A. about you as LeBron the player.
Yes.
So what made this time different is that you made comments about LeBron the father, which then caused LeBron to step out of character and address you as a man.
Yeah.
Now, if things stopped there, if we were given, Alpha Man awards at this very moment, it would go to LeBron. Just because he handled his issue face to face. Now, anything after that, it's starting to get looking a little sister. Anything after that, it starts to look a little sister.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think it was a good look, but other parts of the interview that he talked about, I do get, because now we're getting to the next part of the topic, probably like the big topic I want to talk about. This was with players being part of the media team and podcasts and stuff like that. Players are starting to be part of the media team. Do journalists feel threatened because the status quo is changing?
Absolutely.
Right? And this is what I'm saying, right? Before, there was no consequences really for journalists. Say whatever they wanted to say, whatever matter how crazy it is.
It was separate.
And players didn't really have a voice to say nothing back. Two takes I want to say from this. I want to say people hate on LeBron about this, but LeBron also is one of the first superstar athletes in the basketball era. Like, remember, Magic and Larry didn't really say nothing, but they wasn't making the same amount of money. Jordan never said anything for real. Jordan just really played basketball, want to keep it at basketball. Kobe never said nothing for real. LeBron's one of the first stars to really speak out on things, right? And I think a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people are like, oh, why is he speaking on this, speaking on that, but he won't speak on that. Like, he speaks out more. Give him that, right? And I appreciate that. I think your star, your biggest name should speak out. Another part is, I think journalists, and you can help me out, you know what I'm saying? I think journalists have to be okay with the new norm of them not being able to say whatever the hell they want to say with no recourse. Prime example, Stephen A. had a great conversation with Rob Griffin III where he said how that Rob Parker thing followed him his whole career every time he didn't act quote unquote black. Because we all saw that episode of First Take when he called my man a cornball brother. That's not analyzing the game. That's not being a journalist, nothing like that. That's you putting your own personal feelings on somebody's character that you don't even know.
Yeah.
And ever since then, right? The Skip Baylesses, Stephen A's. This has become a thing for like the past, 10, 15 years of takes that have no real merit. Like, it goes past the game. You're talking about me as a person. From the football draft, talking about people's character. Todd McShay saying that Luther's a diva, supposed to be in the report. Like, now you're going to my character. You're not saying this. So now that the players have platforms they can go on and say, hey, yo, nah, it never went down like that. Or, oh, this person's literally saying like, oh, yeah, you don't know shit. You're a liar.
Yeah.
You know, Joel Embiid, who talking about his brother. You know what I'm saying? Like journalists have been having the liberty to say what they want to say and not having nobody really to check them. And now that people are checking them about it, now journalists feel funny or feel attacked by it. And now you got Pat McAfee basically running it, keeping ESPN afloat, right? Because ESPN are just like they got Casanat up there and stuff like that. They're not even talking about real sports stories no more. Like, they're not talking about how like low-key teams that you would find out about only on ESPN, talking about Orlando, Pablo. Quiet as kept, Pablo Mancaro turned into the star that everybody thought he would be. Shea is having a remarkable year. The Pistons and Cade Cunningham are having a great year. You know what I'm saying? And it's really like all we hear now is LeBron, MJ, Cowboys.
I'm about to say Cowboys got to be in there
And,
somewhere.
and it's really annoying to the point where I like why we started this podcast, why I don't even listen to, I don't watch ESPN like that or Fox Sports, not for the morning shows. It's a spot for debate, but when you start to debate like the human and character, you're stepping over a boundary in a line.
Yeah.
Like he even said on that Brian Windhurst, like he's a, they said, I mean not LeBron on that thing said Brian Windhurst be like he know me, he think my friend and all this stuff. Man, that dude been reporting on me and following me around since I was in high school. He weird. He's like he a weirdo. You know, like I personally like it. I think the journalists have nobody to blame but themselves. They started thinking, okay, because I know execs that I can just talk however I want to talk to about players.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy, nasty. Like it's been some nasty pieces written on players.
Yeah.
Nasty things said about LeBron, calling him weak, calling him all this when he lost to Dallas. When obviously, if you look back at that Maverick run, the Mavericks beat Kobe and them off a championship. The Mavericks beat a lot of people on that run to that championship. But nobody talks about that. All they talk about LeBron in the finals, how weak he is. And it's favorable. Everybody talks about Jordan's six finals appearance, 6 rings, never take nothing away from it. Nobody talks about pre-Jordan, pre-Pippen Jordan. When he couldn't get when he couldn't get past Detroit. Or he couldn't get past the Celtics. They don't talk about that.
Yeah, it's glorified.
Like, they glorify one thing. So I think you got players now that's in the space that's not scared to talk.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have your Shaqs and your Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith are the only ones where they don't really say much, but or they ain't talking shit. You got jokers up there that really would check other reporters like, yo, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing of why they should be under threat or why they should be under pressure. Speaking for journalists right here is that one major shift that we've seen in this social era or because of this whole podcast era is that it has weakened the journalist's stance on opinion. Mm-hmm. You know, of course, there was a time when, you know, you would care for what a Stephen A say, you care for what a Skip say, that would be your almost.
Did we care what Skip said?
I'm just saying of that ilk,
okay.
It would craft some of your public opinion of what we thought of that player. Even if we would just stick with like the NFL prospects that came out every year about who this player was. He's a diva. He's selfish. He did it. If you know, coming from your Mel Kipers or your Todd McShays or you know the off-field issues that we care to hear about. You know, a player. You know, before this era, now it was kind of like, oh yeah, write them off. But now with you know players now having more of a voice, they're having more of a social media presence. Their podcasts popping up all over the place. Mm-hmm. Now that same journalist is now being pulled into the streets. They're being pulled into the court of a public opinion. Now, hold on. Actually, what you said wasn't true. What you had to say, the facts you presented was one-sided. What only things you care to glorify are actually biased. And you know, we get to call everything you said to the stand. Mm-hmm. And that actually weakens your point and it kind of diminishes your value because like, oh, because it turns out the Brian Windhurst is just a similar same guy just like me. If he can have an opinion, I can have an opinion. What caused my what that makes me think of is a news columnist for the Philadelphia Eagles. I can't remember his name right now. It's skipping me. And Elliot Shore-Parks. Mm-hmm. And I'm using names too. Elliot Shore-Parks during the whole Deshaun Jackson scandal with the Eagles. Mm-hmm. You know, him being a gang member and all this other stuff when pretty much
just saying
led to the reason of, you know, him leaving Philly. There was like no real evidence of him being a gang member or him doing this or doing that. It was just, we're going to trust his opinion because he's an insider or because he's an analyst. And now you just changed the whole course of this man's career and just the whole franchise just like that. Because you had a hot report or because you had something you wanted to say. So now that we got
the Rob Parker thing with Robert.
Exactly to your point is that, okay, now that we have a presence. Oh, no, actually, I think I'm going to speak up for myself. Players taking that advantage of that. I think I'm going to speak up for myself. No, you're wrong on A, B, C, and D. So no, it can't just go. We can't just trust you now.
Now players are talking.
We can't
like, I trust on a basketball standpoint. hearing something from Teague or Gill before I trusted on First Take.
As you should.
Like, and you know what I'm saying, with you being a journalism major, when did it transfer from? I think that the only like you had your spot for pop culture and opinion pieces. We all know that opinion pieces always been a thing. But when did we get from opinion pieces being so far removed from facts? Like, even when you write an opinion piece, you're supposed to have evidence to back up the opinion piece.
Sure.
When you have a take on a platform as large as it is, why don't you have evidence to back up your take?
Well, it's not about the.
It's clickbait.
Yeah, I'm about to say it. Entertainment diminished.
It's all like clickbait, and now like even like First Take is clickbait. Only show that I say has not turned clickbait is The Herd.
Yep.
Like he's gonna say his takes, it's how he feel about stuff. He let you know it's how he feel about it, you know. But it does have some evidence that makes you think like, that's a side. You know what I'm saying? But
I like Greeny in them too.
Yeah, Get Up is pretty good, but they actually do a recap show.
Yeah,
it's not just a take show. It's like actual like recaps. You know what I'm saying? That's why the takes can't do but so much, but talk about the same crap all the time.
Yeah,
you're not talking about. You used to watch Sports Center, some of these shows to tell a story about the expound on the story of something that's going on, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
But like I would be like, yo, I feel like, oh man, the magic of having like when Pablo come back, they looking pretty good.
Yeah,
you know, Cleveland having a really good season. Like, what do they feel about it? How do you feel? Are they serious? Are they legit? How they doing it? Like that's what ESPN and stuff and some of these sports columnists and sports people are supposed to be about.
Used to be.
Now it's all about your personal opinion. I don't give a damn, but you never played.
Personal opinion, and we talking about people or teams of interest. And that's what really, and to your point, what crushed that side of, or what crushed that side of sports reporting is because it wouldn't be deemed as considering. The data doesn't show that that those things are interesting or we care to hear about it, which is not necessarily true. You might lose a few fair weather, watchers or people that's not like
you're just getting a bunch of messy jokers now. You're not getting
you know what I'm saying? All you get now is takes, but the people that's going to watch you routinely cares to see what Magic did against the Bulls the other night, or cares to see what a lesser known name is starting to improve his game. Like that's something that we care to see, they keep track of, because we're actually fans of the sport, not just of the people or the teams of interest.
Yeah,
we care about the sport.
You know what show is worse than First Take too? Show with Emmanuel Acho. That show is
trash. It's bad. It's real bad. It's real bad.
And the fact they try to sound smart makes it even more trash.
A lot of grandstanding.
That's a horrible show.
It's a lot of grandstanding.
That's a horrible show.
And if I really get to talking about it, some people shouldn't be giving opinions. Some people shouldn't be giving opinions on that show.
Your running back.
Shay's
opinions be straight hate.
Even that backup quarterback they got up there.
I only watched that.
Was it Chase Daniels? I think his name is.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on, gang.
You wasn't like
that. and I know we sit here. It's an average show, right? So it's like, who are y'all to talk? But also, who are you to talk? Who are you to talk? At the same thing, like, bro, like.
I'm just a consumer of sports.
Yeah, but
media. Then I'm just some of the show. It's just like it's
messy.
If they're not playing live sports, there's nothing. What's to watch? Like you don't have a Numbers Don't Lie. Michael Smith is really giving his opinion with numbers. You don't have shows like Around the Horn where like you really had to like got points on your take and really had to set up good takes on the fly.
Yep.
And they always talked about recent events, not no messy stuff. So I think journalists like I said in the previous episode with NCAA, journalists have nobody to blame but themselves now that they can't share this space with true sports fans. They can't share this space with the players in media. Now, the one thing that does stand well is sports radio, especially local sports radio. They're still doing good, but them are people that's like, they're for the people though.
Right.
Like they have call-ins. They're for the people. Local sports radio is still top tier.
Yeah.
But national TV, stuff like that, nobody. It's not.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, but again, and it's really I wouldn't say that's pretty sucks, because it's like, if we're going to tune into a national spot, a national broadcast, you're looking for that unbiased opinion. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
whereas
some things,
in
I
local
shouldn't have a
radio,
bunch of shows it takes.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But in a national spot like that, we should be getting unbiased. Just you really only have one job, is to give us the facts.
And we'll let some jokers break down the game.
You know what I'm saying? You should be able to just give us the facts.
Yeah, like,
About how real facts and real analysis. That should be it. We can go to our own sport, our own local town radio show or whatever, to get our biased opinions off.
yeah.
But the fact that we want to do national numbers and we want to hit national marks and hit certain recs to get, to keep this show on the air, we got to say messy shit. And it's like, bro, we're not really asking of you.
Is it the fan, the new fan, or is it just...
No, it's for personal branding. It's the reason why Skip can jump networks between ESPN and Fox. It's the reason why my brand follows here and there. Shannon Club Shay Shay. It's like, I can say messy takes, because at the end of the day, whether ESPN falls to the ground tomorrow, I can still take my brand with me.
But I rock with Club Shay because he's a player.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that Shannon say do be harsh on players, maybe harder than I would be on a player. But then you also, your merit is there.
Right.
You're a Hall of Famer. Probably the best tight end ever played the game.
Sure.
Work ethic has never been questioned. So when you say, like, hey, you just got to make it happen, it comes better from Shannon, because Shannon did it, lived it, been there, top of the game. I'm a Hall of Famer. Chad, also the same way. It's different if players are because it take a lot for a player to talk junk about another player, right?
Yeah.
So if I hear some players kind of going at it about another player effort, or another player out here getting distracted and stuff like that, it comes different from them than from a Nick Wright.
And that's the exact point I was going to get to next, is that, all right, you talk about a cat like Gil, who can jump around a couple media spots to get his takes or get his facts off. Shit, Cam Newton, he can jump around from First Take to 4th and 1 to Funky Friday.
That's
just,
man.
Yeah, he has different. No.
Polish himself up a little bit.
I got you. Real quick. Let me just say this. So, but he got Club Shannon, or you got Shannon Sharp, Cam,
Richard Jefferson,
Gil, Richard Jefferson, where they can jump around a few media spots getting their takes off. Now, as a journalist, let me kind of flip the coin here a little bit. That's a freedom that a few do not get, because they have a brand that stems from their pro career that follows them into their journalist career.
So now,
but a journalist doesn't have that same freedom to do so. So they got to be a little bit.
But you know why more don't have that freedom? Because the ones that did get it abused it. Stephen A. had that freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Jokers rocked with him. AI put him on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Windhurst, Skip knew some execs.
Yeah.
The ones that knew people in our generation had it.
Yeah, I just mentioned one.
And went dirty with it.
With the insiders, they got dirty.
So now nobody's getting that access no more. Players say, okay, I'll go talk to Pat, but I'm not going to First Take. It's the Pat get whatever the hell he want to get.
Yeah.
It ain't just ESPN.
Yeah.
Jeff Teague can say, okay, I ain't gonna go to talk to First Take. I'll go talk to Club 528 or whatever it's called. Jeff Teague.
I'm with you. I'll
go to Gil's Arena.
Yeah.
I'll go talk to Raw Room and them, especially a lot of former football players. You know what I'm saying? I'll go move around. You know what I'm saying? My man that was on NFL Network all the time, Rich Eisen, he got that access.
Over at Peacock. Yeah. NBC, excuse me.
You know what I'm saying? But like Colin Cowherd don't got no problem getting who he want to get. So that goes too. If you handle it with care, everybody know you got to be critical. But if you handle it the right way, jokers will still give you that access.
Agreed.
And let you know what's going on.
Right.
But now players like, okay, I'm not gonna go talk to you. I'll go talk to this podcast. It's only on YouTube. It's do numbers. I'll go to All the Smoke. You know what I'm saying? I'll go to or I'll just make my own. I'll go talk to Cam.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But up until this point, there has only been one way to kind of break that mold of going from here to your Colin Cowherd, or from here to your Stephen A, or to your, You know what I'm saying? Or to your Rich Eisen, there's only been like one mode of how to break it. Like there's like one story or a couple stories that kind of break you from moving from here to okay, this is actually a talent that we have on air right now. So it's kind of like, hey, they're probably just plugging away at it. Like, hey, which one of these takes is going to take me from here to there, to where I can have that freedom.
And I don't like to talk about First Take, but First Take in the show with Emmanuel. I don't know. What's the name of that show? Don't care. The name of that, whatever the name of their show is, I can tell how shows are doing by how they get guests and who they get.
Break it down.
When last time you seen a big time guest on First Take?
Beats me.
All right, Get Up always have players on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Canty and that show, which is a damn good radio show.
Real good show.
They be having people call in. They can call in to people. Well, I don't even watch them many watch shows, so I don't know. Speak for yourself with Joy and them. When last time they had a good guest on that? When last time skipping them show, if it's even still on the air, I don't even know how it's going. When last time they had a guest on there for real?
I don't know if they still on the air, bro. That's a good question. I don't know.
Colin Carter get who he want to get.
Often. Rich Eisen get who he want.
Yeah. Matt Barnes, and Steven Jackson, like the godfathers of the sport pod shit, they do damn good interviews with people. Like that, I don't know if you ain't seen that that Vernon Maxwell one had me crying laughing the whole time. But like KG and Paul Pierce do a good job.
I was about to say, yeah.
Andre Ward with his all small boxing, whoever you want to talk to. So your guest now it's not I have to go up here and do the media tour or whatever. Like First Take, I think First Take interviewed the boy that's the #1 coming out this year to go to BYU, but they're not getting none of the pros because people are like, I don't want to rock with you.
I don't trust you. Yeah,
I don't rock with you, so I don't have to go to you now.
And maybe that's the key right there is that whether you played the sport or you didn't play the sport, at least be reputable to where we can trust you to be fair. Again, like you said, you can be critical, but don't be, you can be critical, but don't be like overly critical to the point where it's damaging. Like Cornball Brother.
And it can be damaging if your play is bad. But it don't have to be. But we're
only speaking to your performance, though. We're not talking about who you are as a person.
Like people forget, like Jalen Rose had to check Skip, because Skip was just out here making up nicknames for the cats. Like he was like that, calling himself like a poor man's Pistol Pete. And then Jalen Rose was like, man, you average 6 points and 3 assists. Call that man Water Pistol Pete. You know, and you gotta know how to talk about people and talk to people. And you can handle stuff the right way. I don't think no player has a problem with you critiquing them if they had a bad game.
Yeah.
When it comes in talking about their character, talking about like, oh, they wasn't focused, or they couldn't stand up to the moment, or they weak-minded, and he lacked guts and stuff like that. Like, no.
Yeah,
that's not your place to say.
Yeah, it's a lot of buzzwords, especially with Skip, where he'll use things like if the lights were too bright, he folded, it was too much for him. Like, bruh, let's see a trend of that before we can start putting monikers on somebody. Because then again, that's why I'm saying when we start to pull you into the street and say, well, actually, he's performed here, 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 and here. You know what I'm saying? Where it would take somebody just to overcome tremendous adversity for you to say something nice about somebody.
Yeah. It's just I think sports journalists can't nobody blame but themselves in this.
Yeah.
The player said, I don't want to talk to you. I'll go get this interview to this. Because now we had a thing called YouTube in the World Wide Web that's very big, where I can reach 2-3 million people and get my story across on the platform. Instead of you going up there, me having a 15-minute segment, you getting off your clickbaits or whatever you're trying to get off, and it is what it is. So, like, I mean, like I said, I know it's all with LeBron and Stephen A thing, but it's been a bigger thing. LeBron did talk about a bigger thing, how people talk to athletes, and I think that's a conversation that need to be had, because now ESPN is struggling. ESPN just is stopping their LA stuff. They telling everybody from LA they got to move to Bristol to keep a job. So now the West Coast, they about to be where like I'm still old enough where they ran reruns at night. SportsCenter was not live.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know what I'm saying? It was not live. So like, it is what it is, man. So man, I'm with the players having their own voice.
Yeah, man. It's about credit versus credentials, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as you have good credit, like the guys we just mentioned from all their own like particular podcasts, they got good credit. You know, from the time they was playing to the post the professional careers.
And they put on jokers that like maybe wasn't like Gil has Rashad McCants up there.
Good credit.
B. Jennings up there.
Good
Kenyon
credit.
Martin up there.
Good credit.
You know, Lexi up there.
Good credit.
Jeff Teague is up there with his boys doing this thing. Who else? Cam by himself. But like guys are putting other players like on a pedestal.
Your boys in the raw room, they you know what I'm saying? All former players. Good
all
credit.
former players, yeah.
Good credit. But my point is like, so all those cats, good credit. You know what I'm saying? From their pro days to even in their journalistic era now. Good credit. Now versus your journalists or your TV analysts that just because they got the TV spot, they got the credentials, you know what I'm saying? They're in a syndicated spot. But yeah, you got the credentials, but it don't match with how we believe you or how we validate your position there. It don't match there. We don't care to be there just because your credentials show that we should be there. I'm gonna go here where I'm gonna still have the face card is good, the credentials is good, and it's still gonna give you because I have respect between one another, between the person that's interviewing me.
Yep.
There's a mutual respect there. And guess what? A professional courtesy is still there.
Still there.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go where the credit's good, not just where the credentials are at.
But you know who saw this coming and was early to this train before everybody else?
What's that?
Colin Curry was early to this. Because all like if you see that V in a podcast with your favorite player, that's him in DraftKings. That's his company.
Fire.
So that and they just summed the name off. I want to say Club Shay Shay. Yeah, Club Shay Shay is on it. And then Jeff Teague's podcast is signed to Club Shay Shay. They're under it too. I think Paul George thing is under it. A lot of the player he was early to that. Like he knew that players was gonna get a voice. Got with DraftKings and they're dishing out money to like support player ran podcasts. So you know, some people are early to it, and some people, late to it. But speaking of beefs, though, man, let's run down some beefs that's really been out here. Which one you want to start with? Like, all right, Asante and Deion Sanders. Like, why, and what happened?
Okay, so this whatever we can call it social media beef started because of a disagreement about using the T-step, which is a DB technique for how DBs break on the ball. It's some DBs use it, some DBs don't. They use they kind of run in place to regain their leverage to make a quicker break on the ball. Whereas if you use the T-step, it kind of widens your widen your steps. You can just, instead of going backwards, you widen the steps so you can go forward. It's like a transfer of power or a transfer of leverage. Asante was going off about it one day, saying like, "Hey, I used it, and that's the reason why we don't see a lot of interceptions in the league because they're not teaching it right, and yada yada yada." And he goes to say like, he's getting some flack for it, and he was like, "Why y'all giving me flack? If you compare my numbers with some of the greats, you can probably maybe then you can verify that I actually know what the hell I'm talking about."
This man said he just as good as Deion. Please don't tell me.
He pulled up his stats on one side of the screen and he had Deion's stats on the other side of the screen. So you tell me if he thinks he's as good as Deion. That's what he did. That's what Asante did. Now, mind you,
talking about Deion saying probably one of the greatest football players ever.
Now, mind you, their interception, the difference in interceptions,
how many punt return touchdowns
ain't that far off. We talking about DB technique right now.
Who in the Hall of Fame?
All right, well, let's see. You don't want to take a look. I'm talking about outside of DB technique. whatever floats your boat, because I don't think Champ was using that many T-steps neither, because that's my GOAT in my era.
But wasn't Asante known as like a feast of famine guy?
Gambler.
Okay, all right.
He was a gambler.
So he was interception or burnt.
He would take a lot of gambles in zone coverage and on man. Because there's a lot of times he can get burnt on a flood concept. And there's some times where he'll eat off of, off those same concepts.
I remember him getting a lot of interceptions, but I also remember him giving up a lot of big plays too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because he'll leave his man, betting on his knowledge of the concept, or he'll leave the guy that he's supposed to be covering, and he'll go over here. But that also will infuriate your D coordinator. Like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Just because you had a gut feeling that I was supposed to be here. But, like you said, you can have your 9, 10, or your 8, 9, 10 interception seasons, but you also going to have
like
you're going to have
talk about
some bad plays too.
I don't understand where he's going with that. Like, he should have just said, "I use technique." And don't try to compare yourself to Prime, because they didn't even throw Prime way. They threw your way, Asante, and then throw it, Dion. Talking about Prime, Dion?
Brother, you ain't gonna get no argument from me. Because, even outside of just being a DB, bro, like you said, he returned kicks.
And play receiver.
And he decided he'll leave a football game, go play baseball.
Talking about probably one of the greatest athletes ever.
We're not even talking about just a football player when we talk about comparing yourself to Dion. We're talking about a persona. We're talking about a culture shift. You know what I'm saying? Why motherfuckers is getting swaggy in the NFL? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, talking about before then.
Kids nowadays still know Dion.
Before
and Dion hasn't played since what, 2000? About 2000? About 20 plus years he had last time he played?
Man, before Dion, motherfuckers, DBs was barely wearing gloves. Barely wearing gloves when they got dressed. You know what I'm saying? Now we got all kind of tape and, bands and this limp shirt and this limp socks and whatnot. Niggas was really getting that swaggy on the field before Dion. A shift in culture, bro. And bro, it's cool.
Just kept it at technique. Shouldn't have compared.
We just talking technique, in which, shout out, I think it was it was Antonio Cromartie. Antonio Cromartie, who really kind of, I want to say, initiated the conversation, but he kind of led a lot of credentials to hey, why we use T-step, why we don't do it, But it was just a hey, throwing a topic out into the, to those that know. For those that know, lend your opinion. Of course, Asante lent his opinion, which is fine. Like, you Asante, you a good player.
It was a really good player.
You're a really good player.
You don't have a hall of really good though.
Bingo. You're a really good player.
Just kept it at technique like Antonio Cromartie did.
But at the end of the day, bro, that's all we were discussing was technique.
And then why would you shoot at Prom? Though?
But here's the thing: is
at DB shoot at Proxy, even shot at Champ, Bailey, Darrell Reeves. You shot at Prom.
And you gonna have a hard time in those discussions too.
I know, but you shot at Prom as a DB.
And but again, if you ask me, you have a tough argument wherever you go, because I like Ty Law more than I like Asante. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But that's if we taking it personal.
Boy, that's why I take a Dre Block.
A dog too. But
shout out to Carolina.
You know what I'm saying? That's if we taking it personal, but we're not. This conversation ain't meant to be personal. And I think that's where Asante got lost at. It's we're not taking, this isn't a personal, this is just a conversation about technique, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. But again, it's very much in that. I even heard what's that show that Brandon Marshall they used to have?
The Pivot?
No, not Ryan Clark. Before the Pivot.
Athlete.
When they had that show running, like when Asante was on there, I remember hearing his interview or his episode. I'll just say that he very much carried I'm just as good as the greats. He had that energy then.
He was a really, really good player.
But he had the energy of I deserve more acknowledgement than I received.
Picks don't mean ain't everything though. Because
For
the
sure.
dig, like the digs, like Tavon, what's his name? Trayvon Diggs. The way he plays, he's probably always going to be top 5 when he's healthy in picks, because that's the way he plays. But he's also going to probably have the highest completion percentage too.
Passing yards allowed and whatnot.
But your man, how many picks your boy had that one defensive player to get this year?
Patrick, I think he had like two or one.
But had the lowest completion rating, lowest passer rating, lockdown, right? The Darrell Reeves ain't known for picks
at all.
Champ ain't known
Hall of Famer too.
Yeah, Champ ain't known for a bunch of picks.
Champ got picks.
Champ got picks, but Champ also had good technique.
I get what you're saying.
Lockdown technique, but he wasn't like, how many times Champ lead the league in picks? I don't even remember.
I want to say once.
Sante was always going to be up there leading the league in picks.
Easy.
But he also took chances that probably weren't necessary. Like D'Angelo Hall was up there in picks.
Yeah, he left somebody out there. But again, to those cases, like Asante will also leave somebody out there to drop because of that too. But my point is that Asante is very much like
why I'm not recognized.
Why, but what about me? And it's like, bro, this wasn't the space.
What about him?
But this wasn't the space to say, what about me?
Shit.
Like, bro, the game gonna remember you.
But you gonna shoot at prime? Like, probably like, if there was a starting lineup in the Hall of Fame, he's definitely a starter.
Who?
Deion.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, Deion probably CB1?
For sure.
What are we talking about?
No question.
Like, why would you shoot at him? Should have shot at Antonio Cromartie. That's what you should have shot at.
Yeah, but it's like, it's the old, I wouldn't even give him that much. I'll take that back. It's those that played the game and was like, nah, man, I was just as good as those guys. I used to.
You was there.
And it's not, again, like I said, bro,
clean it up.
You had it.
Clean it up.
You was really good.
Yeah.
You was really good, bro. Nobody can never take that from you. The game will remember you. Or maybe they won't.
Tear him up.
But if you about to get into,
let's talk about the tears.
If you want to talk about tears, you really gonna hate yourself.
Is you probably like in that third all time?
Yeah, I gotta show me the list of people that's in the Hall of Fame. You show me that list.
At best, third or fourth tier.
Yeah, I can think of a few. Again, we having. That's if we was to have a personal conversation of DBs that we like.
Mm-hmm.
If we talking tier 3 shit for me, I'm talking tier 5.
He was good, but
I'm saying because the game goes past just picks.
Does it?
Don't give me the lie. But the cats that I'm also considering too had other parts of the game that I rock with too.
Yeah. But that's crazy. Him shooting at prom is crazy. That's wild.
Man, motherfuckers just want something to argue about. They just want something to yell. You retired. Ain't nobody really mentioning your name like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I guess at some point you get aggy about it. You sitting at home, but you can't really tell the difference between your Mondays and your Fridays. Every day look the same. You bored of shit. Like, I get it, man. The same shit you did on a Tuesday is the same shit you did on a Saturday night. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You just bored, bro. You just bored. You got
another beef. See, if I sitting at home, why is Terrence Crawford shooting at Spence?
Speaking of just sitting at home, because that motherfucker ain't doing shit.
Like, why he ain't worried about Canelo? Over here worried about Spence.
Should be worried about Canelo. He should be worried about Canelo.
Basically, Terrence Crawford said that he's a shoe-in Hall of Famer and Spence is not because whatever. Now, while I do agree with part of that, yes, Terrence Crawford is a shoe-in Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot take that away from him. Undisputed lightweight champion, undisputed welterweight champion, 3-division weight class champion.
Yeah.
Yes. That's where it stops.
Yeah, I mean,
if you didn't win them 3 weight divisions and 2-time undisputed champion, it'd be rough with your resume, bro. Who did you fight? Spence had a run where he fought the best of the best. Not saying Spence gonna make the Hall of Fame. I think his career was cut too short.
Yeah.
But for you to come out and say that, like, why? Like, yeah, you basically stating the obvious, but let's not act like you was beating Jab Zuda and all that.
Right.
Like,
Yo, and this is the difference between motherfuckers being a champion and being the people's champion. And this is
I ain't fought since you won that damn championship.
be my problem. If you in the sport just to collect belts, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Those are, of course, when at the end of the day, they're gonna say your name, they're gonna say you was a belt, they're gonna say you was a champion.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, there's a lot of boxers that we done forgotten about that held a belt at some time.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfuckers that you could probably walk past in the street that was a champion of something at one point. You know what I'm saying? But you could walk past them and don't know who the hell you just walked past. You know what I'm saying? But at one point in 1997, they were the they were the WBC, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? But in his case, I get it. He was undisputed twice, but that don't make you the people's champion.
Yeah.
The road for Spence to get his belts is a lot different than Bud's road to get belts. It was a little bit nastier. It was a little bit more grittier. Yeah, he didn't go undisputed, but it was something to watch him go unified.
You only went undisputed welterweight because you didn't fight nobody else until it was time to fight him. And he went and got all the other belts.
You fought Sean Porter, and then you went to go fight Spence.
And went and got the easiest belt it was to get to against Jeff Horn. That shouldn't have that belt because Pacquiao beat him. Just saying, the run.
And yeah, Spence only fought in one division. That's another knock. That's another knock that Bud mentioned. Yeah, he only fought at 147. I get it. You wanna go the what's my man's name? If you want to go to Roberto Duran route about this shit, go for it and just fight in hella divisions. You know what I'm saying? Make a name for yourself in hella division. Hey, go for it, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it. But again, when it comes time to packing out a stadium, when it comes time to getting for selling a ticket, motherfuckers were buying a Spence ticket. They were paying for a Spence pay-per-view.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? This was, this before cards was bulked out with a whole bunch of other fights on it. The way Bud is fighting now, got hella undercards in his fight, or hella prominent names in his undercards. Spence was selling those tickets damn near by his lonely.
Yeah,
that's the difference I'm saying about being a people's champion and being just being a belt champion. Yeah, you carry a belt, but we don't regard you the same regard. And if it takes you to mention and to shit on somebody else's name for you to be more of a champion or be more in the public light, bro, then you don't fucking deserve it. You ain't gonna never be that guy. There's a reason why he big fish.
Yeah.
And then not to say we Spence lovers and none of that other shit, bro. But it's the fact how bro went about it. I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go out and, instead of jumping a whole bunch of divisions, I'm just go out and go get all the belts one by one. We can respect a run like that.
Yeah.
But if you gotta, shit on somebody else's name to get your name up, bro, then how the hell does that make your win look better? If he was trash, if his career was ass, if his resume is ass, how does that make your resume look now? Shit, take the Spence fight off your record, off your resume. Then what it look like?
It's bad.
So you still keep the belts. Your belts will still be on your resume, but at the end of the day, what does it look like? Does it look like something that we're gonna care about in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think to make him up there. To make him up there as one of the greatest of all time, he has to win this Canelo fight. I think Crawford would go down as a good fighter, great fighter, but to be up there and mentioned with the greatest of all times, if he gets his ass kicked by Canelo, then guess what? It's for naught.
Then we just wasted our time.
Well, you could have just stayed at welterweight, dominant welter, dominated super welter, and fought some more names, but you waited for that Canelo back. You didn't hardly fight anybody of substance waiting for that Canelo back. Now you got it. So now, if you get your butt kicked or Canelo put damage on you, it's going to be a legacy talk. People start looking at your resume.
Yeah, you flew too close to the sun, bro. That's how we just gonna regard you at that point. That you flew too close to the sun. Because I mean, shit. I mean, Madrigal didn't look that bad against you. If we keeping it hot, when you went to 150, you know what I'm saying? He didn't look that bad. So yeah, get your bag.
Right in that middle too. That's weird.
Get your bag, young man. Get your bag. Like, you know, stars only look like stars when they next to, you know, until they stand next to superstars, bro. So, and Canelo is the face of boxing. If this is all for you to be in the race to be the face of boxing, bro, that L gonna look nasty.
Yeah. Because you waited. You didn't fight nobody else.
Yeah. And maybe being the face of boxing just ain't you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it ain't for you.
Yeah.
It ain't for you.
It's just
it wasn't cut out for you to be there.
It wasn't called for him to say like this to come out of nowhere and talk junk by my man Spence.
Hey, bro, and bro already admitted his, you know what I'm saying, admitted his shortcomings, bro. You know, with the car accidents and the drinking and whatnot, bro. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's easy to kick a man while he's down, bro. I just don't think your jacket didn't need that smut on it. No. But your jacket didn't need that smut on it, bro. And at the end of the day, that's all I really have to say on it, bro. That was some shit. That was some cheap shit. That was some cheap shit, dog.
I just didn't see it, but like that, man. My name is Anthony. It's my main man Kenny.
Yes, sir.
IDK Sports Podcast.
Yeah.
Premier spot to talk sports to average guy. 5 p.m. All podcast platforms. Until next time.
What's happening?
I'll holler.